So many of the big challenges and changes facing places, communities, and residents around the world are shared. From demographic changes to the climate crisis, from growing local economies in an equitable way to the role of AI. That's why we're launching LGIU's new Future Local Lab. The lab is all about the future of local government and speaks directly to LGIU's purpose, which is to make local democracy around the world collectively stronger with shared ideas, resources, and connections. But what does that future look like? What role does local government play, and in what form? We canvassed the views of some key local government thinkers to get the ball rolling.
I think the Council of the Future will look potentially very different from the councils that we have now, but what won't change is the role that we play in the community and the importance that we have.
When I think about the councils of the future, I see councils that are genuinely part of the fabric of their communities and the places that make up those communities. I see councils increasingly as enablers and collaborators, not just sticking to the traditional method of delivering services directly.
Councils in the future, in the New Zealand context, need to look dramatically different than they do now. My own district, for example, takes about 2.5 hours to drive from one side to the other. There's no way that some of the communities further away from where decisions are made feel like that's really local government.
The Council of the Future will be dynamic, responsive, inclusive, and at the leading edge of public service delivery.
Change is definitely coming, and I think we've got to embrace the power of AI, digital, emerging technologies, so that we can, in particular, get on and meet the ambition that all of us have to deliver prevention and early intervention into our communities and for individuals.
I think the challenges facing local government over the next 25 years is going to be the need for communities to reset our understanding of how we better manage the Earth's resources whilst maintaining our way of life. But that's against a background of managing the consequences of not having adapted earlier.
So we know there's going to be a doubling in the numbers of people over 85 in the next 25 years, up to 2.6 million. And obviously that's really something to celebrate. We just need to make sure, though, that we have the right kinds of support in communities to make sure that people can live well into old age and make sure that they can really thrive.
The role of technology and AI in what we do will be transformational. And particularly here in Glen Ira, we are seeing more than ever the way that global events can challenge local community cohesion. I feel really strongly that councils can be well placed to meet all of these challenges. Our greatest asset is our people. And if we attract and retain the right people with the right mix of skills and culture, we can strengthen our capacity to take on all of these future challenges.
First and foremost, local government must be fully representative. Our elected members and our workforce must reflect and embrace the diversity of our communities. This will ensure we can fully understand and respond to the needs of everyone.
The empowering of residents to have more control over decisions that impact their lives. It will be an increasingly fast-changing world from a technology, political and climate change point of view.
I think that all of us should be really thinking about how we ground every single service in the place to which it is delivered, and how we fight or advocate for the communities that elected our members.
At the moment, it feels like there's a little bit of a shift away from trusting establishment, and we need to be better at re-engaging with our communities, being transparent with the decision making and inviting community participation.
Trust has to be earned. Before you can ask people to change, you have to demonstrate that you will deliver the support that they need to achieve that change efficiently and fairly. So I think there is a lot of opportunity as we move forward, but let's not forget what we're here for, and that's to provide services for people who need them the most. And we have to make sure we take people with us on our learning journeys. Well, I don't think tweaking is going to fix the problems we're facing. I think a more fundamental, revolutionary change is required.
We have to feel confident about how we use technologies. We need to think about our transformation tools and how we work in partnership in our communities to face into some of the big positive changes, but also adapt to some of the threats as well. And that means us being sort of confident in ourselves, equipping our communities and our workforce with the new capabilities to be able to thrive in a new age.
I think that what we should be doing in this phase of discussion is really thinking about how even the most universal of our services really connect to people and what it is that we know that no other agency does. And that's not just about democracy, it's not just about elections and councillors. It's that rootedness in place, in the land, in the sense that people have of belonging to a location.
One of the ways that local government can prepare for this change is really thinking through what it's doing in that kind of preventative space. So we know that early intervention can make a huge difference, that putting the right kinds of support into people's homes, for example, can really lead to people living well into old age. It's also, of course, about ensuring that people can get out and access community services and that there are kinds of facilities available for people to get out too.
We must allow each council to shape themselves according to that community. A one-size-fits-all solution may work for national organisations, but it doesn't work for local people.
If we are to keep relevant, and if we want people to keep thinking that local government is important, we have to find ways of showing and connecting to what is important locally.
It's a privilege that we're the only level of government that's positioned to plan for the future of our communities in a way that builds their trust and confidence. And of course, we've got a responsibility to be a safety net to ensure that no one falls through the cracks. We need to be a vocal advocate for those who most need government support but can't always speak for themselves. And I think that's what local government does best. So that's why I remain optimistic and passionate about our future.
Sustainable local government is so important wherever you are around the globe. When we come together as people, we need to be able to make decisions. We need a framework for decisions for communities to be able to be made. And in my context, that's local government.
A sustainable, well-funded and trusted local government can provide preventative services that will tackle the long-term, persistent and generational inequalities that too many people experience. It is this shift to prevention which will ensure communities live well now and in the future.
We can't lose sight of why local government exists, which is to support people to live well in their communities.
We have to be a sustainable, happy, hopeful sector. We're at the heart of our communities. The democratic mandate that we bring is so strong, and I think a secure platform so that our communities can feel safe as we work with them to embrace change into the future.
Going forward, Future Local Lab will explore these themes further. But that's just the start. Tell us what you see for the sector in the coming year and over the next 25 years. How can we ensure that there is a thriving democratic local government in 2050 to meet the needs and aspirations of all our communities and residents?